Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, The Case of the Secretive Owner, a tale of baklava, Bulgarian associations, and unwelcomed inquiries. The second story, How one director's outsourcing plan failed spectacularly. The third story, entitled Woman's Drink Drama, a night of unruly behavior and unnecessary aggression. The first story is, I should be fired for not giving out the owner's name. A lady walks in to place her to-go order. She's curt with me, but I'm in a decent mood, so I'm able to let it roll off my shoulders. Aside from being snarky and a little bit condescending, she's also asking me a lot of questions about the menu. I'm being far more patient and helpful with her than she probably deserves. But like I said, I was in a good mood that day. While she's handing me her card to pay for her food, she notices the frozen box of baklava in the cooler behind me. Every restaurant has that one thing that should be removed from the menu. This is that thing for us. The box reads thaw and serve. It's dripping in high fructose corn syrup, and it's probably the most unauthentic baklava you'll ever eat in your life. I hate that we sell it, but we have been for years, and some customers are crazy about it. So there it rests. She begins trying to bond with me over this sad excuse for baklava and how cool it is that we sell it, what country it's from, and yada yada. Like I do with all other customers who try to comment something about this horrendous dessert, I simply smile and nod. Then out of nowhere, and quite aggressively, she asks me, what's the owner's name? The owner is a ghost. He's never at the restaurant. He has other obligations out of state that take up most of his time. He rarely communicates with me, let alone any of the other employees, and certainly not random customers. I know this might sound like he's neglectful, but the restaurant has really good managers, and everything runs smoothly. Anyway, I've known him for a while, and am aware of how much he values his privacy. I know I wouldn't want anyone giving my name out willy-nilly, so I apply those same principles to this situation. What a fool I am. I politely attempted to avert her questions by responding, oh, you wouldn't know him, because she literally effing wouldn't. No. This answer simply won't do. She asks me with her condescending tone, why do you think I wouldn't know him? At this point, I'm feeling incredibly awkward. Why does this lady need to know the owner's name this badly? I'm trying to be polite and brush her off, and she's not taking the hint. My palms are getting sweaty. My chest is getting those stupid red splotches on it that it does when I'm getting flustered, and my mind is going a mile a minute. I tell her, well, he's not a celebrity or anything, because I'm still thinking she wouldn't know him, and what could telling her his name possibly get her except now she knows his name, which is creepy and weird. Lady asks me again, okay, but why do you think I wouldn't know him? JFC, lady. I fumble over my words a bit, and what comes out of my dumb mouth? Well, he's Bulgarian. Thinking by saying this she can just assume I know him better than she does, which I do, and that he does in fact spend most of his time with other Bulgarians, which he does. Hagrid has entered the chat. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. She flips her SH. How dare I assume she doesn't know anyone from Bulgaria? She knows loads of people from Bulgaria. In fact, half of her friends are Bulgarian. The other half are from other exotic and obscure countries. She has the most diversified group of friends on this side of the Mississippi, and how dare I accuse her of something otherwise? I don't know, she goes on like this for a minute while I watch, regretting ever even getting out of bed this morning. So in a pathetic attempt to get her to hush up about all the different ethnicities of the people she apparently knows, I tell her the owner's name, and then ask her if she knows him. Of course she doesn't. Everything finishes. In eerie silence, she fills out the receipt and even tips me $5. I figured I was off the hook. A week or so later, a lady calls asking to speak to the owner. A request usually only reserved for spammers. I offer my standard response. The owner isn't in right now. If it's important, I can take a message. She says no, she needs to speak directly to the owner, and it's regarding one of our employees in ethics. I'm wondering, ethics? Who in the hell did what now? Unsatisfied with my reply, she asks me for his personal phone number. I tell her I'm not at liberty to give out that information. She's getting irate now. She demands his email address. I respond the same way. This stuff is private information. I don't just give it out to anyone who calls without any context whatsoever. She angrily hangs up the phone on me. A few days later, a very well-articulated 5-paragraph review pops up on Yelp calling upon the owner to consider the ideologies and worldview of the people he hires, and that I'm impetuous and unenlightened. I've never been so thoughtfully insulted before. I just really want to get to my side of the story out there because like most negative reviews, they're written to be quite biased towards the customer. I'm sorry, lady. I should have just told you that I didn't know who the owner was. You seem to have put in an awkward and uncomfortable situation by the customer's incessant inquiries regarding the owner's name. It makes sense that you wanted to protect the owner's privacy and didn't want to reveal personal information, unless it was absolutely necessary. Your attempts to gently divert the customer's questions were aggressively rebuffed, which had the unintended and unexpected consequence. It's regrettable that the customer's opinion of your response led to the situation getting so bad that she had to write a bad review. It's simple to criticize your actions after the fact, but at the time you were just attempting to handle a difficult situation, while maintaining professional standards and honoring personal space. No matter how carefully you handle a situation, customers sometimes react in unpredictable ways. It's important to keep in mind that you handled the situation to the best of your ability given the circumstances. The second story is, worked QA at a video game publisher. The company was already struggling, so employees were brushing up their resumes for the inevitable trickle of layoffs. Our workload was being pushed off to India, but what kept our department afloat was that India's attempts at contributing to our project was so laughably pathetic, the overwhelming majority of their issue reports would end up in the waste bin. A common belief among upper management was that the India support company was actually a scam organization. That's how bad it was. Suddenly, our department director quits. Already we're feeling bad omens and thinking the end is near for our wing of the company. We found out why he quit. He was offered a better job at a different company and stuck around long enough for corporate to find a specific replacement for him to immediately take over. The new boss comes in, and he wastes no time introducing himself to the team. He even had a PowerPoint presentation ready to discuss his plans for the department. Note, we're in crunch time and already working 12 to 14 hours a day to make release. Project leads are already feeling impatient and wondering if this guy's going to actually get to anything relevant, or if he's just going to waste all of our time and force us to work 16 hours. A half hour into this PowerPoint presentation, he's talking about career opportunities for outsourcing operations. He goes on and on about our new family in India, who will be handling the bulk of our work, and that they need us to train them to do our jobs. After an hour of this, a lead raises his hand. Director says, "I will handle questions at the end." No, this lead has had enough. This isn't a question. I'm calling you out. We're in the middle of crunch and you're wasting our valuable time to tell us you're going to send all our jobs to India. Director attempts a response, but the lead interrupts again. I'm not asking you anything. I'm telling you that I'm taking my team with me and we're getting back to work. The presentation dissipated with a humiliating whimper afterwards, as other leads followed suit, getting their teams back to work while the presentation attempted to resume. He never finished. Crunch time finished a couple weeks later. The game was off to manufacturing, and we were just done. Companies all over were hearing about us leaving en masse, and were jumping at the opportunity to snag us while we were still in the neighborhood. In 1 week, myself and 10 others ended up jumping to a different company. My last contact at that old company left after a month, ended up at a different company, and he said that the whole place emptied out after that presentation. Nobody applied for the India outsourcing manager position, and leads were discouraging people from applying because they knew the company was going to drop India anyway. After multiple complaints and more than 3/4 of the department quitting over the course of a month, the new director was fired. And they completely severed their partnership with India. Strangely enough, this director was hired at the company I ended up at about 5 years later. It was kind of awkward seeing him in the halls again. I at least said a friendly, polite hello, but it wasn't needed. He got fired from that company too after just 1 month, because he was so distracted trying to organize an outsourcing program with effing India again. Dumb A forgot to sign the lease for our department's expansion in our own office building, resulting in our planned new floor being snagged by a different company. Our company wasn't even struggling, and this A-hat was trying to force India into the workflow. He clearly had some connections there, and I was relieved to see him get tossed, again. The chaotic and annoying situations that can arise in the corporate world, particularly in times of transition and crunch, are vividly depicted in this story. It's regrettable that in a time of crisis, the new director appeared more intent on outsourcing of operations to India than on attending the team's pressing needs and worries. The lead's audacious decision to confront the director during the presentation says a lot about the employee's feelings of annoyance and disappointment. It's commendable that the group stuck together and ultimately chose to depart, as a whole in quest of better prospects elsewhere. It's crucial to listen to and respect the needs and expertise of the current team rather than putting personal agendas, as evidenced by the new director's persistence in focusing on outsourcing to India, despite facing negative feedback and ultimately leading to his termination in another company. Such circumstances are regrettable, but it's encouraging to see that the team was able to move on and succeed somewhere else, removing a director whose priorities were obviously at odds with the company's and its workers. The third story is entitled "Woman Attacks Me Because Her Drink Was Thrown Away." I've been working since the age of 18. The rule of thumb with drinks usually is that you don't leave them unattended. If the drinks are left unattended, they get collected. Anyway, this one night it was closing time. Last orders were called and the bar had been shut down, and we're now at the stage of the night where the bouncers are asking people to drink up and leave. The glass collector we had on that night was collecting glasses and comes across a table where one glass had a drip of a drink left. They asked the people sitting at the table if the drink was finished with, and they replied yes. So the glass collector did their job and put the glass into the glass wash. I was sweeping up the floor when the glass collector approached, saying there was a woman at the end of the bar, asking where her drink was, and demanded it to be replaced. Turns out this glass that had a drip of drink left in it was hers, and now it's gone. It's 2 a.m. The bar is closed. Restock has been done, and it's time for people to leave. And because the glass collector had the approval to take the glass, I said that we would not be replacing a whole drink, even if they did not have the approval for the glass to be collected. This woman has still left the drink unattended, and the rule is if a drink is left unattended, it's to be collected. This woman has then stormed behind the bar to where I was sweeping after she's seen me say that I would not be replacing the drink, demanding I pour her another drink because she paid money and she wasn't finished with it. I replied that there was only a drip of alcohol left in it. That and she'd left it unattended. I also explained the importance of not leaving drinks unattended. I said if the bar was still open, I would have allowed her to pay for another one, but the bar is closed and tills have already been sent to do cash up for the night. So there's nothing I could do at this point, and calmly explained she would not be having a drink replaced, and she needs to get from behind the bar as she cannot be there, as it goes against our licensing. She's drunk, so obviously she gets irate, demanding how she's a customer and always right. I said there are rules I have to follow in my job, and my hands are tied and that she needs to go before she's forcefully removed by the bouncers. She's not taken to this kindly, and now she's in my face shouting profanities and still demanding a free drink. At this point, I've had enough and called a bouncer over to remove her from behind the bar, because she can't be there. I just wanted to finish my shift and go home. I've just done a 12-hour shift and my knees felt like they were about to buckle under me. She's clocked that this bouncer has been called over, turns back to me and lunges herself at me with all her force. I'm a small person, but I've always known how to take care of myself with self-defense classes. So I've managed to lock her into place on the floor, whilst the bouncers work around me to get her up and out of the bar now. She's still swinging her arms and wailing like a toddler who's just had a toy taken from them. She's managed to catch me and mark my face with her nails. She was barred on the spot for attacking a member of staff, and reported to the police where she was done for assault since it was all caught on the security cameras. Completely baffled me how entitled this woman was acting over a drip of a drink. It's been a while since that happened, but still to this day gives me a little bit of anxiety that I now always make sure the latch door is locked when we're closing up for the night. Side note, we have posters on a lot of walls and behind the bar to not leave drinks unattended, otherwise they'll be collected. I'm sorry that you had to deal with something so tough and mean while you were just doing your job. It's regrettable that certain patrons can exhibit such entitlement and irrationality, particularly after imbibing excessively. You responded to the situation with professionalism and composure, adhering to the rules and guidelines of the bar. It's admirable that you handled the situation skillfully and maintained your composure in the face of the customer's increasingly aggressive behavior. I also love the way you easily laid her on the floor in the tackle. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.